The history of Apple. Once upon a time in California, in the spring of 1976, three men, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne, came together with a simple idea. They wanted to build and sell personal computers at a time when the idea of owning your own computer felt unusual, even strange. Their workspace was small, their resources were limited, but their belief in what they were doing was strong. So on April 1, 1976, they created a tiny new company called Apple Computer. Their very first product was the Apple I. It wasn't the sleek machine you might imagine today. It was just a bare circuit board, carefully designed by Wozniak and sold by Jobs to local computer hobbyists. People who bought an Apple I had to bring their own keyboard, their own screen, and even build parts of it themselves. But for the time, it was exciting. It was a doorway into the future. By 1977, the company was officially incorporated. Ron Wayne had already left, but Jobs and Wozniak pressed on. That same year, Apple introduced the Apple II. This computer was different. It came in a complete case, it offered color graphics, and it felt much more like a polished machine. The Apple II became one of the first truly successful personal computers in the world. With it, Apple began to grow from a garage startup into a major player in the tech industry. As the late 1970s turned into the 1980s, Apple set its sights on a bigger dream, making computers easier for everyone to use. They explored graphical interfaces, windows, icons, and using a mouse instead of typing commands. This led to the creation of the Apple Lisa in 1983, one of the first computers to use a graphical user interface. It was expensive and ahead of its time, but it set the stage for something even more important. In 1984, Apple introduced the Macintosh. With its friendly screen, its icons, its mouse, and its compact design, the Macintosh changed how people interacted with computers. It made technology feel approachable. It made creativity feel possible in a new way. The famous launch showed a computer that was meant for the individual, not just businesses or universities, but behind the scenes, Apple was going through struggles. Sales didn't grow as quickly as hoped, and internal disagreements created problems. In 1985, Steve Jobs left the company he helped create. It was a difficult and emotional moment in Apple's history. Without Jobs, Apple continued through the late 1980s and early 1990s. Releasing computers and trying new approaches, but many of them didn't resonate strongly with customers. Competitors were growing. Apple began to lose direction and confidence. At one point, analysts wondered if the company might not survive. Then, in 1997, everything changed. Apple acquired a company called Next, founded by Steve Jobs after he left Apple. With this purchase, Jobs returned to Apple. Soon after, he became the company's leader again. His return marked the start of a massive transformation. Jobs simplified Apple's product lineup and focused the company on quality, design, and unified vision. In 1998, Apple introduced the iMac, a colorful, all-in-one computer with a bold personality. It was friendly, playful, and unmistakably different. People loved it. Apple was no longer fading, it was rising. In the early 2000s, Apple continued reinventing itself. In 2001, the company introduced the iPod, a tiny music player that could hold a person's entire music library. With it came an ecosystem of software and online stores that reshaped how people bought and listened to music. Then came one of the most transformative moments in modern technology. In 2007, Apple introduced the iPhone. It blended a phone, an iPod, and an internet device into one touchscreen slab of glass and metal. It changed how the world communicated, how we used technology, and how we lived our daily lives. It became one of the most influential products in history. Following the iPhone, Apple introduced the iPad in 2010, creating a new category between the smartphone and the computer. The tablet era had begun, and Apple was once again leading it. Apple grew, expanded, and refined its technology. It developed new laptops, desktops, watches, headphones, operating systems, and digital services. It opened retail stores around the world. It became known for clean design, elegant products, and smooth integration between hardware and software. Over time, Apple evolved into not just a computer company but a global force in consumer electronics, entertainment, and digital ecosystems. In 2011, the world mourned the passing of Steve Jobs. His influence shaped Apple deeply, but the company continued under new leadership while staying true to the philosophy that technology should be both powerful and beautifully simple. In the years that followed, Apple released more innovations: refined iPhones, powerful iPads, thin and capable MacBooks, the Apple Watch, AirPods, the M-series chips, and multiple new services. Apple expanded into health tracking, chip design, sustainability efforts, and secure cloud technologies. It became one of the most valuable companies in the world. From a garage in 1976 to a global technology leader today, Apple's journey has been one of vision, risk, struggle, reinvention, and transformation. It has shaped how people create, communicate, work, listen, watch, and explore the world, and it all began with curiosity, persistence, and two young men building a computer by hand. As this story winds down into a quiet close, you can picture the arc of Apple's history as a long, steady evolution, small sparks growing into brilliant ideas, setbacks turning into comebacks, and inventions that changed not only the company itself, but the way millions live their everyday lives. A simple garage to a global icon, a humble beginning to a lasting legacy, a journey still unfolding, even now. Rest easy as the story settles like soft dust, and let the long path of Apple, full of dreaming, building, failing, learning, and rising, drift gently into sleep.